Imagine a room of nearly 430 people. All of them raise their hand saying yes, but one man stands alone. One voice in the vast sea of Congress says no. This is what happened on November 18th, 2025, when the U.S. House of Representatives voted on a bill that could crack open the darkest corners of one of the most notorious scandals of our time, the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The bill is called the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and it passed with 427 votes in favor, just one against. That one no came from Republican Congressman Clay Higgins of Louisiana. This vote was historic in more ways than one. Bipartisan support, pressure from survivors, and even a shift in position from former President Donald Trump. But who is Clay Higgins, and why did he break ranks when nearly everyone else supported the bill? Clay Higgins represents Louisiana's 3rd Congressional District, a conservative firebrand, a member of the House Freedom Caucus, and a former law enforcement officer. In his past, he gained notoriety for his tough-on-crime rhetoric, doing Crime Stopper segments and often speaking as if guilt was already assumed before a trial. Now he sits on the House Oversight Committee. In fact, he chairs the subcommittee on federal law enforcement. He's not a stranger to Epstein oversight. Earlier, his committee actually subpoenaed the DOJ for Epstein-related files. So why the lone no? In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Higgins called his vote a principled no from the beginning. He argued that the bill, in its current form, abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure. His biggest concern? He warned that the mass release of Epstein investigative files would expose innocent people who were named, such as witnesses, persons who provided alibis, and family members. Higgins feared these
Forthwith
people,
presents
though
himself
not
in the well of the
criminally
House of
implicated,
Representatives
could be
for the
harmed in the court of public opinion,
pronouncement
especially if
of
released
censure.
to a rabid media.
And Representative Glenn
Importantly,
Clay
he
Higgins
didn't reject transparency entirely. He said his committee has already released over 60,000 pages through its own investigation, and he insists that process protects people better. He even offered a conditional path. If the Senate amends the bill to add stronger privacy protections for people named but not charged, then he might support it if it returns to the House. But Higgins's reasoning is not without critics. For survivors of Epstein's crimes, this vote felt like a major setback. Morgan Lemander of Louisiana's largest sexual trauma organization argued that Higgins's innocent people argument misses the guardrails in the bill. According to her, the only ones not protected are powerful adults connected to Epstein's wrongdoing. She also criticized Higgins's framing, saying his concern seems directed at everyone except the abuse survivors, the very people the bill is meant to help. And some point out that Higgins's previous law enforcement style, presuming suspects are guilty, seems incompatible with the sudden crusade for due process and privacy. On the other side, supporters of the bill argue that redaction rules already exist. The bill allows redacting names of victims or people connected to active investigations, but not simply to avoid political embarrassment. So, the debate becomes, is this a legitimate concern for privacy or a thinly veiled effort to cover up? To understand the bigger picture, we need to zoom out. The Epstein scandal has global reverberations. Epstein's network reportedly connected to powerful political figures, foreign leaders, and the world's elite. Releasing these files isn't just about naming names, it's about accountability, potential criminal exposure, and public reckoning. Higgins, meanwhile, seems to view congressional oversight, not a mass release, as the safer route. He supports the Oversight Committee's investigation, saying it will continue in a manner that provides all due protections for innocent Americans. He's also thrown down a political gauntlet. If the Senate amends the bill with better privacy safeguards, he's not ruling out a yes vote later. But with the Senate reportedly preparing to move quickly, possibly via unanimous consent, there's tension over whether amendments will happen at all. And let's not forget the political fallout. Higgins broke rank against his party mostly, went against his own prior statements, and likely drew both praise and backlash from different quarters. So, why does this matter on a geopolitical and global news scale? Because the Epstein case isn't just a U.S. scandal, it's a nexus of power, money, and influence. If the files come out, world leaders, billionaires, and political heavyweights could find themselves under renewed scrutiny. If the files remain hidden or heavily redacted, critics will argue that the elite continue to dodge accountability, reinforcing narratives about corruption, impunity, and the abuse of power. Higgins's vote in that sense is symbolic. It's not just a no vote, it's a statement about transparency versus privacy, justice versus media spectacle, and how far a democracy should go to protect its innocent, even in the name of exposing the guilty. As the Senate prepares to take up the bill, the eyes of survivors, investigators, and the public will be laser-focused on whether reforms are made and whether real transparency is achieved. Will Congress guard public interest, or will powerful names stay shielded behind redactions and closed doors? One thing is certain, this vote was more than just about Epstein. It was a crucible for how America balances accountability and privacy, and how a lone voice in a sea of agreement can spark a much bigger debate. If you found this discussion important, hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We cover global politics and power. Follow us so you don't miss what happens next. Thanks for watching.